Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Matchbook Horse Racing Podcast. We've got another classic weekend coming your way. That's from Ireland in the form of the Irish 1,000 and 2,000 guineas. We will kick off with the 2,000 guineas. And we've got good racing from Goodwood and Haydock as well. Some cracking racing at Haydock to preview for you. Not the biggest fields of maths, which is a bit of a shame, but still plenty of bets are going to be going up with Micheál Deasy, Ed Quigley and Charlie Poste. A reminder to get your votes in for the SBC Betting Awards. Please do so. Best Betting Podcast, Best Betting Video, Best Betting Website we're up for. You can vote now. Head to the Matchbook Twitter page. It's pinned up there. And of course, like and subscribe to this podcast. Makes it easier to digest all of our content. We'll get stuck into the previews straight away, if you don't mind. We'll start with the Irish 2,000 guineas, that's right, which is going to be live on ITV. It's coming up at 3:40, and it's the Brits very much at the top of the betting for this. So this is how they bet, with Royal Scotsman at 3.0, 5.5 for High Royal. So they're the second and third from Newmarket. Then Paddington is 5.5, Proud and Regal 7.0, bigger prices thereafter. Dees, welcome along. How are you, and who do you like in this?
I'm very good, Tom. Thank you for asking. I like Donegal O'Brien's horse, Proud and Regal. He had a good season last year. He was someone that kind of caught my eye, especially at that race behind Elriff. Elriff was a very good winner, but I thought Proud and Regal ran a great race that day and finished the season winning at St. Cloud. He's made his debut this season in the Derby trial that Sproul won at Leopardstown. Now that wouldn't have been ideal conditions for him. They stepped him up and trip, and he ran perfectly well. Might have got stuck in the ground. They dropped him back and trip for this. I think that he has a mile might be his thing. He should be spot on as well. I mean, he might have been 100% fit that day, but this could have been the early season target. He's a nice price. He's about 7.0, so I'll have a go off him, win only.
7.0 win only. I think we've got 4 different selections going up here. That's Proud and Regal for Dees. Ed, you're keeping faith with the leading light from Ballydoyle?
Yeah, I'd tentatively be with Paddington. It's more of a case, Tom, I'm against the market leader. That'd be my overall view. And if I had to pick one, I would go with Paddington. I think it's clearly on an upward curve and trained by Guineas. But I'm not...
Ed, why are you against the market leader? I'm interested.
I don't think he's a miler. I really don't. Showed great turn of foot to win over 6 twice last year. I thought in the Dewhurst, his petrol light was coming on at the end of 7, just about held on to him behind Chaldine. And then, I mean, it was a remarkable run in the Guineas in many respects. It was his raw class got him a 2.5 length third. But watching that race back again, I mean, he's pulling Jim Crowley's arms out for... I almost put him into the category of the Sakir or the Little Big Bear, or to me, he looked like a sprinter who was having to go at a mile and didn't get home. I get a feeling he might end up like the 7 furlong niche trip might be his race. I think is it the Lennox Stakes at Goodwood. That could end up being his type of race. I just think, look, he's going to have to settle a whole bit better in this encounter here to get the job done. Now, obviously, Jamie Spencer comes in for the ride. I imagine they'll try and Jamie will race the ambulance in last and try and anchor him and get him to switch off. But he just looks skinny enough for me when, a whole host of unknowns in behind him, really, including, as you say, Paddington, who's won his last 3. And I'm not totally convinced he's going to make up into a miler. I think they want him to make up into a miler. And it was interesting listening to Oliver Cole saying, look, they'll probably go to the St. James's Palace Stakes after. But if it doesn't work out, we do have the option of coming back in trip. And as soon as I start hearing a trainer throwing that out, to me, I think it's already in their psyche. They're not totally bought on the sense he's a miler. But if he can go and land a classic, you kind of only get one crack at them, then so be it. And it'd be brilliant. So, yeah, I'm against the favourite, really. I'm laying the favourite. And but if you took him out of it and said, who am I going with? I'll be with Paddington. I still think it's an element of High Royal. It's a little bit of a fluke in the in the Newmarket equivalent, and that was on very soft ground. Going to be much quicker here today, so I'm just not bought by those at the head of affairs, especially Royal Scotsman. I just think a mile. I just wonder if it's right at the upper end of his tether.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree on that on Royal Scotsman. I think what he does in the early part of the race really counts against him for a while. I think he could get it, but I don't trust him over it. Charlie.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with that. Royal Scotsman, I'll be against him. I think you're banking on with a run under his belt, he's going to be more relaxed. But I don't see why that's a guarantee. And I think he's also plenty of boot that's probably going to come back in trip. I'm gonna keep the faith that High Royals running the Guineas wasn't a fluke, and that he's very much a raw horse that's been a work in progress. And I still think there were signs of greenness in that performance at Newmarket. And he's obviously got a big engine, and I think in what probably you'd argue is a relatively ordinary renewal of this race, I'm going to take him to take another step forward.
Okay, I'm going to take an absolute flyer on Car Shamar at 34.0 win and place. It's an 11-runner field. I don't really trust the second and the third from Newmarket on what was a weird race on soft ground where the Aidan O'Brien horses really underperformed. I don't like it that Paddington's third in here. He might prove too good. He'd be the one I was most tempted with. Galeron, I don't think is good enough. And Sharon, I don't think is a miler. And then you get to Car Shamar, who achieved a Racing Post rating of 96 last time. Well, that's up there with what Age of Kings did on his penultimate start. That's better than Charon's performance in the Guineas. It's up there with what Cairo did at Dundalk in listed company. It's up there with what Galeron did on his previous start to the Guineas. Yes, it was on the all-weather. He might be a turf horse. He might want more cut in the ground. But you've had a 26.0 winner in Romanized, a 17.0 winner of Phoenix of Spain, 9.0 Max Swinney a couple of years ago. I don't know. Win and place, I thought that was a fair enough shout. Small stakes, a race I'm not fully enamoured with. Okay, let's move on. We're going to the Florida Handicap, which is the 115 at Haydock. A 7-runner field, which is slightly disappointing. And betting is as follows. Old Toon is 2.3. In the Breeze is 5.5. Come On Kenny 7.0. 7.5 Tiger, Beetle, and double figures the remainder of them. I'm a no bet. DC's a no bet. Charlie Post, you're a bet.
Yeah, In the Breeze for me. He ran well over 10 furlongs last time at Windsor. The step back up will suit him. He's down below his last winning mark. And, I just think a replication of that Windsor run might well be good enough here. The big concern is the form of Mick Appleby. They've been very much out for a while now. But I think he had a few horses placed in the last 14 days. And I'm sure with a yard of that caliber, they're going to get back in the groove before too long. And like I say, I think this lad has plenty of positives in what looks a relatively weak contest.
And Ed, you're a bet.
Yeah, I'm excuse me, we've Come On Kenny. Be my selection here for Ian Williams, lightly raced 7-year-old who was what a useful bumper performer. Has had a long time off the track prior to the comeback run at Newbury last time out, and I think all the the signs were there that this individual would need the run. Was very weak in the market, bit of a late drifter. He was very deep ground at Newbury and just blew up like a horse who'd been off the track for 406 days. The upshot of that is this individual's dropped down the weights to just £1 higher than when last successful. Not many miles on the clock at all. And Will Buick's been booked. And the form of the race, he was beating it in Newbury's worked out quite well. There have been 3 winners come out of that since. So I like the unexposed tag here. And the fact William Buick's been booked for him. Sorry, Jez, I'm absolutely swamped with hay fever here. It's like the I went for a walk up Cleve Hill with my son the other day and the forest, and absolutely regretting it now in absolute bits afterwards. But anyway, I will be with Come On Kenny, Will Buick, Ian Williams. I just like his unexposed nature, and I think there's more to come.
You like one of Harry and Roger Charlton's horses? Just allergies. Although they had their first winner yesterday, 150 runners.
I know. Mad.
Unbelievable scenes. All right. That's the first at Haydock done and dusted. We move on to the Festival Stakes at Goodwood. Again, I'm no bet in this, and you lot are all a team steam here with Francesco Clement, who hasn't been seen for 308 days. He's 3.0, 5.5 Phantom Flight, 6.0 El Drama, King of Conquest, bigger prices. The rest. Go on, Dees.
Look, I was I suppose he's a bit of a talking horse. He's only been seeing the track 3 times, unraced at 2. They've always thought huge things of him, and I was just looking through the rest of them, and I was trying to be a bit the value. But when I kind of looked at it, the more I was just thought that him just might be too good for him.
What would you like to add, Charlie?
Not a lot, really. I mean, like you. I mean, I was worried about Phantom Flight with James Horton and all that they've been through. Whether, I mean, you're presuming it's been business as usual in the interim, but I don't know if that's guaranteed. And yeah, I just thought the others had far more exposed look to them. And if this horse is going to be the horse that they've kind of talked him up to be, he'd really want to be taking this out and taking it out well. So yeah, just not a lot more to add to what Dees has said.
And Ed, fair enough price?
Yeah, I think so. Ground's going to be absolutely fine. I mean, the one naturally you want to back is El Drama, but you don't because the horse hasn't won for 2 years. But I mean, you look at the horse's CV; it's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, beat 3 lengths by Bayside Boy, runner up to Baid, fourth by St Mark's Basilica. But for whatever reason, it just seems to keep bumping into one. This is a bit of a class drop, admittedly. On official figures is exactly the same as Francesco Clemente, but Gosden's flying. This horse is on an upward curve. Ground will be fine. Was devastating when last seen. I think we'll get the job done.
Just bring in a couple of comments. Dylan-esque says, I voted for you in the SBC Awards. Best of luck. There's no category for best county court tipster, though. Seems like an oversight.
Thanks, Dylan. I'd only lose to Jane Mangan in that. So,
yeah.
That would
I think he was talking about Jane Mangan. So
maybe, yeah.
Bit awkward. You think it's you, but there you go. You're right.
You get my vote, Dees. You get my vote all day long.
Thanks, mate.
Just about fit your head in there, Dees. Good. Giles says, Paul Cole rocking up at the Curragh to nick an Irish group run with a second-rate horse. Pull the other one. Go on, Giles. It's Paul and Ollie Cole. The 150 at Haydock is up next. This is the Hell Nook handicap. Carzola is 3.0. Law of the Seas 4.0. 8.0 for First Man. The max we can is 8.5. 9.0 Mountain Road. Bigger prices thereafter. Just the 7, which is annoying. Dees, I like backing these Johnston horses in races like this. Quite like them at the track as well. We know what he's likely to do. I think he'll provide a trading option, the max we can. He'll stay. He wants quick ground. I just thought I thought he ticked a few more boxes than those at shorter prices.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably the only kind of solid bet I would think in it. Though it's a pity that there's only the 7. You're not going to get 3 places. You'll probably get 3 places on the exchange if you want to do a 3-place bet there. But look, he's just going to go out. He's going to be fit. Good firm ground 2 miles ahead. Act like it'll take some getting. And I'd rather be kind of on a horse that's going to be prominent in front running and has form over that kind of distance. So yeah, I think he's definitely a value bet, even a win only at the price he is.
Charlie.
I mean, I respect Cazzola, but I thought up 10. The performance last time was on very slow ground, so I wanted to kind of be against him. And I've gone with Law of the Sea. Had that luckless run at Chester, was way too keen, got no light. Franny Norton must have been screaming for room the whole way round. I think back in trip won't harm him. He's a strong traveller, and I think I'm taking him to get the compensation he deserves because he looked very unlucky to me around Chester.
And Ed, what have you got for us?
I'd echo everything of what Charlie's saying there, really. I thought Cazzola won a small field, bad ground race that fell apart, and naturally on deep ground, I think winning distances are exaggerated. For all that, the Cazzola came home in a common canter. £10 hike for that. Just on instinct more than anything, seems a bit OTT, and I agree. I think Law of the Seas, unexposed, dropping trip won't be a problem. Got a lot of natural zip. I've got my Will Buick fan club T-shirt on for this show, really, because again, he's on board one of my selections, and I think is the better value out the 2 protagonists. Put it that way.
Yeah, nothing screams Will Buick like a blue checked shirt for me. I suppose this is your Godolphin blue.
Well, we jazz it up for the next show. We'll see what we can do. Yeah.
couple of shouts for the Max We Can, Laura the Sea for Charlie, and for Ed. We move on to the 205, which is the Harroway's handicap at Goodwood, and prices are as follows. Bresson is an interesting horse in the sense that and there's a few horses lining up like this for Juddmonte this weekend. Horses on handicap debut who could be well treated, but it's Taffridge who heads them 5.0, Bresson 7.0, 6.0, Ucowliff 7.0, Dark 38.0. Bigger prices thereafter. Charlie, come in.
Urban Sprawl for me. I mean, you've got these couple of relatively unexposed horses from big yards at the top, but I was just looking for something at a bit more value. Urban Sprawl's had the 2 runs this year, over the mile and 7.5 furlongs at Chester the last day. Both times he's led till late. And so I think coming back a bit and trip, 7 furlongs on a sharper track. And he's got an inside slot drawn in 3. Joe Fannin on board. And again, it's a track where the Johnson yards seem to excel. You know, it very much suits their run style. So I'm hoping he can get out, bag the rail and set sensible fractions and lead them the whole way.
Sorry, everyone. I think I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you, mate.
Good. I think my son just walked in and just booted the router that I'd moved. So that was good. DC.
I finished, yeah.
No.
Hello. Prairie Falcon for me. I thought that there was I was looking through him there, and his last 2 runs he's been kind of running on softish ground and running fine, but just not seeming to get home. If you look back at last year, I think his best season performance was at Goodwood on good firm ground. He beat XJ Rascal. I think that was might have been at the festival. Michael Dodds is in good form. He's drawn in there next to Ucowliff and Bresson, so Bresson should give him a good pull into the race. And Haley Turner is on. I actually thought Haley Turner had a great record at Goodwood, but it's not as great as I thought it was. So a slight negative there, but again, it's double figure price. I'll go for a nice win place bet, getting as many places as possible.
And Ed, you to finish off on this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the reason why Tom's having his router booted over is because it's just so dark. No one can see what's going on in his house, can they? It's just absolute carnage. Honestly, but yeah, in the 205, yeah, I'm with the Paul and Oliver Gold horse here. Tom Marcon booked to ride Yakolef or something along that pronunciation. Winner at Newmarket last time out, but Goodwood's very quirky track, so I do like previous course winners at Goodwood. I think course form counts for a lot more at Goodwood than it would some other tracks. And this individual's got form figures of a first and a third here. The third was in a decent maiden. Nice winner on another occasion. Won nicely last time out. Been bumped up a little bit for it, but Marcon booked. And just hoping that the course form a rule. So could be a sneaky win and place in my view. But a race, as you say, Charlie, the couple of very powerful yards with total unknowns delving into the handicap ranks. And so, yeah, fascinating to see how this race plays out.
Nice one. I'll take over there while Tom is on the missing list. And for anyone wondering what Tom was picking, it was Seeking Gold was his selection. So the next one we're going to jump onto is the 225 at Haydock, the Silver Ball handicap. Top of the market there is Covey for John and Teddy Gosling, another one of those Juddmonte horses making their handicap debut. Royal Cape is second in at about 7.0 for Hughie Morrison, in the defensive fourth for Peter Chapel-Hyam. Gincident, going for a second win in a row, is there 8.0. Then you have James McHenry for Ed Bettle, and he is the choice of Charlie and Tom. So you can take it away there, Charlie. Why do you think he's the winner of this?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, this is a cracking race, you know, and there's some fascinating horses in here with the future and the rest of the season in mind. I came down with James McHenry. He's 2 from 2 this season since stepping up to a mile. He won over the course last time, and the Britannia was talked as a possible target. They've decided to come here instead. I think the fact that he's tactically versatile, he came from slightly off it last time, will help. I think there's plenty of pace in here as well. And the fact that his trainer's already said that he sees him as a 10 furlong horse potentially won't be a negative, especially if they go a good gallop here. And look, he's been hit hard by the handicapper, but he looks very, very progressive, this horse. It looks like it's come together for him this time round. And yeah, I take him to maintain his upward curve, Dees.
I agree with that. Excellent.
Here he is.
Hello. Don't have toddlers. Just skip out that phase, is what I say. I think the other thing about this horse is the trainer. Like, when's the market going to cotton on to how good this guy is? I think he's excellent. I'd have a slight worry about the ground, is all probably, Charlie. But like I think he could easily be shorter. Covey could be anything, I know, and they had a good horse, Jubmont, who won at Sandown on handicap debut last night. But he's a risk, whereas I thought that James McHenry's very solid. Dees, you finish off this race because I'm not sure what we got to.
I'm on Killybegs Warrior on this. It's a quick turnaround after running in the Dante last week, but he's danced every dance. He's running the field and stakes. He's running 2 Kentucky Derby trials. He's highly tried. But again, look, you know exactly what you're going to get from this guy. He's going to be prominent. He's going to run his race, and I think the drop and trip should be fine. You know, he's carrying a bit more weight than the rest of them, but they obviously think a lot of him, and I think he's a solid. Again, I'm going with a lot of the win place best today, but I'll be sticking with him with that. He's a double figure price with 13.0.
Okay, everyone had a go. Ed, have you done your Covey case?
No, I'm the only one. Yeah, but I'm with a market leader for once. Yeah, I'm with Covey here. I just thought, yeah, progressive sort, going through the gears. Frankie on quick roundup should be absolutely fine, and I think Covey can win this onto bigger targets at Royal Ascot.
That, you'd imagine, is where he's going to be campaigned off the back of this. The 240 at York is up next. I've been trying to work out the draw here. I mean, why nothing went far side at the meeting? I don't know at the meeting just gone. But anyway, because when something did, they came off all right. 14 going to Poste here. Corker's 4.33. 7.5 Bedford Flyer, 9.0 Mondamedge, 10.0 Chipstead, and Reigning Prophet, bigger prices thereafter. Charlie, you're with a favourite.
Yeah, I've stuck with the favourite, Corker. I thought he was unlucky last time, missed the break. You know, I mean, it didn't cost him, and Clifford Lee then dropped his hands slightly, I think. But I mean, it didn't make a difference between winning and losing. You know, I think going by the last meeting, the draw is fine. There's plenty of pace around him. And yeah, I think he's got the capacity. He's rated 103, so he's probably not far off the level yet that he could develop into a group sprinter through the rest of this year. And he runs York really well. You know, I think he's hardly ever been out the first 2 there. So I think Corker's a really solid bet at the top of the market.
Ed and I are in agreement with this Alligator Alley. I sort of half wanted to put up Fine Wine, who might just he was drawn low when he won at the Dante meeting last year, and that's good form. Beat Russell that day, but I don't know if he'll be in the same form here. Whereas if they go hard with the likes of Fine Wine, Copper Knight, et al., it should suit Alligator Alley, who sort of blew it a bit at the start last time. He's a bit of a hostage to fortune, but I thought he was pretty solid at the prices at 17.0 Alligator Alley. Yeah,
absolutely. You summed that well, Tom. Hostage to fortune, but he really was taken hostage last time out on the Knaves Wire. Absolutely nowhere to go. Danny Tudhope, about furlong and a half out on the absolute schnaff, looking to quicken up like black caviar and behind a wall of horses and had nowhere to go. It was a kind of case that the race got away from him and it was all over. The ships had sailed, put it that way, got the gap, got the split once the race was done and dusted. And in the end, went on to the cliche of all cliches, as an eye-catching, fast-finishing 6th. But, at that type of price, I'm happy to roll the dice again that we get more fortune in hostage this time round. Alligator Alley, previous course of distance winner as well. They go a big, fast pace and gallop from the outset, as long as we can just get the gap, the split at the right time. I'm convinced there's a win in the locker off the current rating, put it that way.
Yeah, or an unlucky 4th.
Then we go again.
I'm with you. Fingers crossed. Dees, who are you with?
Taking a wild swing at Zarzini. he's drawn there way out in the wing, but he has absolutely tumbled down the handicap. This horse at one stage he was rated 104 there last year, but he's had a bad enough. He's beaten 6 3/4 lengths by Silky Wilkie, but Silky Wilkie won that race by about 5 lengths, so it wasn't a complete disgrace. And it looks to me like maybe he's been, like, a lot of these were out last week at the festival. Maybe he's been held back just for this. That's I'm hoping anyway. Again, he's a double figure price. He is yet to win at York, but I think he can go well. I think he's a nice draw. There's a few nice horses in around him, so hopefully he can hit the places at about 15.0.
Yep, he's a couple of big prices going up there, and the favourite as well. The 3 o'clock looks a really strong renewal at the Sandy Lane. You've got obviously the Guineas disappointment last. Little Big Bear is struck into himself. He was struck into. I think he struck into himself. He is 3.0. Brad Sell is 4.5. Cold Case 6.0. Aldassin 9.0 as is Matilda Pickott. Bigger prices the rest. Who's seeing sense with Little Big Bear? Good. Everyone except Charlie. So take it away, Charlie.
No, as in I'm under no illusions. Little Big Bear could just be very too good for these, and he could get himself right back on track. The Guineas was a disaster, like you say. He blew the start, got struck into the back of him, was lame afterwards. Obviously, can't have been that big a problem because he's been turned around fairly quickly. So, and then you look down at, I mean, Brad Sell looked like he'd come forward for the run at Ascot. I was tempted by Cold Case, but wondered if Brad Sell would get nearer to him. So I went with a big price one. I went with Millstream for Jane Chapelheim. The horse are back running well. This horse, he ran Noble Style close on his second start, and then to me blatantly looked a non-stayer behind Chaldean in the Acomb at York, and so like, he's also he's on sort of no one knows the limit of where he could end up being, and yeah, win and place in this sort of race up 17.0. I just thought it was a bit of a bet to nothing really, because there's every chance Little Big Bear might be too good for these, but that something's got to chase him home at the very least. So I wanted one with that sort of angle.
Yeah, listen, I appreciate Little Big Bear comes with his risks, Dees, but like he's a really fair price, isn't he? I genuinely thought he'd be about even money.
Yeah, he wasn't the horse that Aidan O'Brien gave before Ascot there last year. He said that like have as much as you want on him, and he did the job. And I mean, he's fairly good records, just the one black there the last race. Probably more of a sprinter than a miler anyway. So I think that they wouldn't be sending him over unless he was just right as well. That down cliche. So I just think he's, again, this is another one I was going through trying to be clever. I suppose the only one I would consider as a bet without him would be maybe Matilda Pickott. I thought she ran very well in the 1,000 Guineas, and she will prefer, I think, the firm ground, I think, would be massively in her favour. By Sunation wanted as hard as tarmac. So she might be the other one that I would have a little bet on, maybe without her or each way, but I think Little Big Bear will win.
I agree, Ed. And I feel like it's underappreciated just how badly they all ran at the meeting, and I know they had to change their plans. They had to stay overnight. Aidan O'Brien doesn't normally do that. He normally gets them in and out, but like all to a horse, they ran badly, and so I'm willing to put a line through it. And I know he had that schmozzle early on in the race. Like he's definitely better than that, and I really think he should be.
The artist flying now as well, starting to anyway.
And he's got a history of bringing Guineas 1,000 and 2,000 disappointments back to win July Cups or over sprint trips. So I think this should be easy enough for him. Ed, sorry.
That's all right. No, I agree. Wins this, and then dead heats with Sakir in the Commonwealth Cup. There we go.
And do you want to add anything, Ed, or have we?
No, we've covered it all, but I just agree. I don't. Not Royal Scotsman's not quite in the same bracket, but it's a similar logic. I just don't think he saw out a mile. Obviously, there are excuses of injury, but just look at his 2-year-old campaign. He just looked all turbo, didn't he, really? So very happy to see him back at a sprint trip. And as I said, Sakir would be the other one I've got in that non-staying miler category very much right at the top. And I think we could get Little Big Bear Sakir. That could easily be the big dust up in the Commonwealth Cup at Royal Ascot. Two non-staying 3-year-old milers coming back to sprint trips.
All right, let's move on to the Bronte Cup, everyone's favourite race. Mimikyu is around about even money, 2.0. River Stars is 6.5. Sea Flawless, 7.0. She's my tentative selection in a race where you can get win place money. If they win on debut for this yard, they tend to be good. She did, albeit in her 4-year-old campaign, I know. Then beaten by Old Harrovian, which was a bit disappointing, and then came out and won at Beverley last time. But she's clearly got ability, and I'd much rather back her than I would Mimikyu, who has been off for some time off the back of a slightly below par run last time. She might be too good, but I'd also point out the last time she ran at the track, she was disappointing. I think only Charlie has got a view. Only DC has got a view in this.
Yeah, thanks for making my case for me. The only kind of angle into it I had was Lay Mimikyu for one of the reasons that you put up there. I think she's probably too short. She's just back. She didn't enjoy York the last time. Father, she went out the next time and beat Ashada, which is probably, they put the hood on her then, which is probably why she's favourite. But there's a few of them in here, like as you said, Sea Flawless there now. Could be anything. Even River of Stars, I could see her improving from last year as a 4-year-old. So I mean, if Mimikyu was going to be there at even money or 2.25, I'd probably just have a small little lay bet on her, just in the hope that something will beat her and she doesn't enjoy the big wide expanse of the Arc Straight again.
All right, the Temple is up next, and it's the last race we're going to be previewing on the Saturday. And I didn't get prices up. I did. The Platinum Queen is 4.5. First start for Roger Berry for Katsumi Yoshida. Holly Doyle back on board, though. Dramatise is 6.5. Twilight Calls is 6.5. 7.5 and bigger the rest. I was quite keen on Dramatised here, and then Carl Burke, I just interviewed him for the Nick Luck Daily podcast, which isn't a tipping podcast, so it doesn't compete with this. But he wasn't as bullish. I don't know. He basically put me off a bit, Dees. She's being aimed at the King's Stand, and she'll have to run well in this to get there. But like he basically said he doesn't expect her to win, because she'll take a step forward for it. I don't know. He just didn't fill me with loads of confidence. I wanted to put her up before I spoke to him, and now I've just chickened out. All yours.
Thanks for the new info, Tom. I haven't yet listened to the Nick Luck Daily podcast yet today. So I didn't pick up that off card, Brock. I just thought
that pressure washing the back patio.
Yeah, I was going to jump in and say that as well.
Right. Get ready for that. Get ready for that. I just thought there was a lot in her favour in this race. I thought she started last season very well. She's getting a lot of them the weight allowances for being a filly, and like the Platinum Queen. Like, why would you move the Platinum Queen to a different stable after she did so well last year? And Roger Varian is not going well at the moment. And I think there's very few else in this are probably going to be top level sprinters. I think Dramatise could be one of the only ones, so that's why he's going to have a little win only bet on her.
Charlie, who do you like?
Yeah, I'd be keen to take on the Platinum Queen. There's also every chance maybe she was just an incredibly sharp 2-year-old if she got a step forward. I'd have thought Dramatise looks like she has more scope to do that, but I mean, hearing the comments from Carl Burt, that's a worry. I ended up chancing Mip Bahi, as in he had a really good time last year as a 3-year-old sprinter. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't step forward again this time round. And yeah, he's up against a quality field, but it's not always that easy for some of these 3-year-olds, especially this early in their season against these seasoned sprinters. He'll also be he'll be ridden from off the pace as well. So again, at 15.0, he's a nice win and place angle as well. And yet, so like I say, it was another race, a bit like the other sprint that I was looking for something with a bit of value that could pick up the pieces if one of these 3-year-olds ends up being very good, and so that gives you that place angle as well, and that's him for me.
Ed, you and I agree.
We do, yeah. The win and place market for, for Razel, who was a remarkable rise through the ranks. Wasn't it? Would the winning sequence start off 73? Might have been off the top of my head. I need to go look that up now. And then just blossomed into a genuine group performer. The negative first is that I think Charlie mentioned at the top of the show the Mick Appleby team. They haven't had a winner in May. I'm right in saying they've gone bizarrely off, which is a worry. But other than that, I think this horse has got a lot of positives. Return to fast ground will definitely suit. Got absolutely stuck in the mud in the closing stages at Newmarket last time out, and that wasn't a bad run at all, was it? Finishing 4th to Vadream in the Palace House. I think that's very smart form. Best form on a quick surface. Well, we're going to get that here today. It's good to firm, good in places, and it's going to be 22 degrees looking at the weather. So it's going to be rattling quick. That'll really suit Rasel to go a million miles an hour. And the horse is 1 from 1 over course of distance when winning nicely in a listed event last year. So, doesn't have much to final figures. It's just the Appleby yard. That would be the only thing that's putting me off. If the yard were banging in winners right, left and centre, I'd be really, really keen on Rasel. But I think this is wide open. There's a few individuals in here who've got, their reputation to try and put that together. Twilight Calls included. But for me, Rasel would be the one at the prices I think can land a blow.
Okay, we move on to other bets on Saturday. Ed, where are you looking?
That's a very good point. Bear with me. I'm off to Cartmel. Yeah, that's it. The sticky toffee pudding maiden hurdle. I mean, other puddings are available, but I know it's one of your favourites, Tom. But
it's the only dessert choice.
It's outrageous, isn't it? But the thing is, you see, it shows on my jawline when I have it, whereas you seem to work it off. So I've got to switch to your diet. But anyway, RT Stanley, Daryl Jacob for Stuart Crawford. This horse has been running consistently well in similar events. Start to get a little bit worried when you see a horse keep finishing second or third. Maybe there's something they don't want to quite go through with the effort. But I've watched back the replays of some of the runs, and I think they've just bumped. Connections have been a bit unlucky and just kept bumping into one. And then with hindsight, faced some impossible tasks, like when finishing third to Impair on Pass, etc. We're in a maiden hurdle at Cartmel here, but the salient point, Tom, being this step up in trip, plenty of stamina in this horse's pedigree. Out of a Dom Alco mare, has been running over 2 miles. You look at the run at Sedgefield 2 starts ago, and it down Patrick, kind of outpaced, staying on all the way to the line. Over the minimum triple there or thereabouts. We're up to 2.6 here today. Now, I know it's Cartmel, but nonetheless, it is another 3/4 of a mile or half a mile plus from what this horse has been running over. And he just screams stamina for me. Daryl Jacob, Stuart Crawford teaming up. Yep. RT Stanley in the sticky toffee pudding maiden hurdle.
Right, I'll just mention a 2-year-old. I don't know the price yet, but she runs on Monday. She's called Say Hello for Rafe Becker, who's flying along. She ran an excellent race, and she's a big girl. Will have needed it, I thought, on debut at Sandown when she ran a couple of weeks ago. Don't know what price she's going to be, but I'd make her just about favourite. So keep an eye on Say Hello at Windsor in the 2 o'clock on Monday. Race got more than one in it, but Ross Orions dropped up on this filly, so I hope she runs. Moving on to Matchbook Zero long shots. Matchbook Zero, remember, zero commission. Head there from 10 a.m. every morning for selected markets. They'll match the exchange prices. You like to get better odds on the exchange anyway, let alone with zero commission. So well worth checking out Matchbook Zero. Place any bet up to £20. Mine is Rasel. Charlie, your long shot?
Millstream for me.
Ed?
Yeah, Alligator Alley. Hopefully more fortune than hostage.
Deasy. Dease? Did you say it? Didn't hear it. Here you go. Zazzini. All right. The Saturday lays now. I'm Royal Scotsman if he's as short as he looked earlier on. And Charlie, you're laying Royal Scotsman as well?
Yeah, again, anything under 3.0. Yeah, I'll be very willing to take him on.
Dease?
Mimikyu in the Brantley Cup at York.
And Ed at Cartmel.
I'm laying Royal Scotsman. I got my lay double Royal Scotsman and then the Wolf for Ollie Murphy at Cartmel. Won an abysmal race last time out at Perth where the second favourite seated, the third favourite pulled up. It was on desperate ground. Been bumped up £7 for winning it. And if you actually look at the Wolf's profile, all his best form has come on a very soft surface. It's going to be like a runway there. And as I said, I think he got a huge hike in the weights for winning a very weak race. So be taking a Royal Scotsman and the Wolf.
All right, the best bets now. Saturday best bets. Mine's a little big bear. Charlie?
Best bet for me, Law of the Sea.
Micheál Deasy.
Break up, Peter. You're breaking up, Ash, Peter. The max we can is my best bet.
And Ed, your best bet.
Yeah, I'm over to Ireland at 2:30 at the Curragh Greenland Stakes. Art Power loves getting on the ferry. 3 from 3 in Ireland, 2 from 2 over to C&D. Oisin Murphy on board for the Easterbees. Yeah, Art Power, my selection in the 2:30.
All right, we move on to the Irish Guineas. This is on Sunday. Irish 1,000 Guineas, 350. Tahira's 1.5, Meditate 8.0. Tarawa is 11.0, bigger prices thereafter. Weldon O'Brien got a bit of a stronghold on this contest. Charlie, you're with Tahira, or are you? I don't know whether you make her a bet at that price.
No, I mean, I don't think she's a bet. I just thought that Dees looked like he was contemplating the backyard, didn't he, when it sort of frees there, you know.
I've been looking forward to this for ages.
But yeah, Tahira for me. I mean, I just don't see her getting beat. I thought she ran a cracker in the 1,000 Guineas. I mean, I know we can argue whether Dermot Well would have run her if he didn't think she was quite ready, but he was sort of fairly, saying that he thought he'd like another week or two. I mean, she and Morge pulled miles clear of the rest of them, and I just think she's going to be too good for them.
Okay, so I would agree in that she's definitely. I think she'll win, and I love her. But I am a bit surprised she's 1.5 and Meditate's 8.0. She's only rated £5 inferior. Meditate. Put a line through the Newmarket run. It was just none of them liked it there. And the overnight stay. She's proven on quick ground, which is likely to be. Whereas Tahira isn't proven on quick ground. I think win and place. She's a stupid price. So I never thought I'd desert Tahira, but as a bet, Meditate, win and place. She's not out the 3, that filly. So I think she's a great bet, win and place. We're done there, aren't we? No views elsewhere. Good. Moving on to just any other Sunday bets. That's what we've got. I'm going to stick up Bay Bridge and I'm just going to check a price. Charlie, what have you got?
Johnny Max 345 Fontwell for Christian Williams. He hasn't run over hurdles for a long time, this horse, but he's £13 lower as a consequence. And then his current chase mark, and he ran a cracker in the Norfolk National off £10 higher last time. He's a strong traveller as well. So, I mean, dropping back slightly in trim, still 3.25 miles over hurdles, I don't see being a negative. And like I say, he travelled well, so I don't see that being an issue. So, yeah, Johnny Max, 345 Fontwell.
Okay, Bay Bridge is 2.6. I don't know if I'm making a bet at that, to be honest. But what I will say is Bay Bridge will be the best of them. And he'll be the best older horse, middle distance horse in Europe this year, in my opinion. He'll be better than the 2 that fought out the Brigadier Gerard last night, Desert Crown and Hookham. I think he's a serious animal, and I think he will cut it in an arc. I don't think he'll win an arc necessarily, but I think he'll make his presence felt in it. So whether he's a bet at that on the first start of the season, I'm not sure, but I think he's a monster. Good. We're done. Well done, everyone. Thanks ever so much. Charlie, Deasy, thank you. Ed, thank you very much indeed. I know you're staying behind a little bit behind when you were going to, so appreciate that. And we'll chat again next week. Very best of luck this weekend, wherever you're playing all.